From weddings to corporate engagements, Stacy and Joseph of FLO New York Events have taken their passion for decor and elevate countless events from special to unforgettable. So first off, I have to thank you guys so much for all the decorations you've brought into our studio today. It is that much more lovely than it was before.
Our pleasure.
So the holidays were just here. We just had Valentine's Day. Mother's Day is around the corner, sort of. I don't know if you do Easter. How did the holidays treat you guys?
Definitely well. We do a lot of work with restaurants in the city, primarily in Manhattan, and we do a lot of great pieces for them during, especially Valentine's Day, of course, some accent pieces throughout the restaurant as well as on the tables. We really place our focus on larger scale, doing full arrangements at restaurants as well as events, as opposed to single bouquets.
Okay, so I'm not going to come to your shop and just get one bouquet for my mom.
You need the whole shebang.
Okay.
You plan a whole party for your mom.
A whole party for your mom, you could definitely do, however.
She deserves it, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I'd say so.
So tell me more about FLO New York Events. How did you guys get started?
Growing up in Texas, my next door neighbor, her mother started a flower shop, and so I would work summers with them, but never really knew that I was going to get into it later in life as a career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also I start giving a favor to one of my friends. They open a restaurant, and I just start buying flowers for them and start to decorate the restaurant. So and then start to get it from there. Like little by little, I took start to do weeklies for 1, 2, 3 restaurants since I met Stacy, and we talk about this.
It just kind of happened naturally, honestly. We didn't really anticipate that it would take off the way it did. We're celebrating our 7th year in business
Whoa.
together, which feels great.
That's
but
amazing.
we just did it as a side project and something that we love to do, and didn't really plan for it to take off the way it did. Just
And
kind
the
of
rest is history.
Yeah, kind of word of mouth. This really worked out, and we're so happy.
So you met doing like freelance events or like?
Actually, we were both working at a restaurant at the time.
Okay.
One of the restaurants he was doing flowers at, and I was managing the restaurant, and it just kind of
Whoa.
serendipitously happened that way.
I love it, and here you are today.
Truly.
So what are some cool events you guys have been involved with before?
Definitely one of our favorites was we got to participate with the Lay's potato chips. They do a contest every year for some kind of bizarro flavors. And we got to create pieces that represented each of those flavors for their unveiling for the winner. Wasabi ginger was a big winner the year that we
I did like that one, I
created.
see it, okay.
It's a little intense.
So what kind of arrangements, like what would you have me to represent wasabi ginger?
The thing that we created, actually, because we did 4 pieces along the bar at the restaurant where they were hosting their event, and we created tree-like installations with manzanita branches.
Manzanita branches with cymbidium orchids.
Okay.
We
With
fixed
green, yeah. because it
yeah,
was
green cymbidium
wasabi.
to represent the wasabi.
And we did flowers balls with mom's greens to make it more fun.
So like very conceptual.
It was, but then we had like a little bowl there with some wasabi and like some chopsticks in it. So we brought in the elements from
Yeah,
each of
to-
the
You want to hit
ingredients.
a little bit with it, yeah.
Truly,
I
yeah.
like that. Yeah, like how do you do macaroni and cheese?
We had a block of cheese inside of macaroni, inside of kind of an ornate vase, like kind of an apothecary style vase.
Okay.
And then we also had the manzanita, and then just affixed the fresh flowers to the top of the branches.
Okay. You made that sound much simpler than I would have put together for
It
that.
wasn't. It was really a lot of hard work, actually. Make it turn out well.
What about the Special Olympics? I think that you've done some.
That was another great
arrangements for
project
them.
we got
That
to
was a
work
great-
on.
That was a big project.
I know. How many tables was that? I don't recall. It was a larger scale event.
70, 60.
Around 60 or 70 tables, and
Okay.
we got to bring in elements from different sports events in the
Okay.
Special Olympics. So we did one that was like a tray of wheatgrass with like a tennis racket affixed in it and a ball. And then we did one that had a kind of a bulbous vase that had swimming goggles floating in the water.
Okay.
And then we did, what were the other ones?
The bowl on top
Oh,
made
yes.
by flowers, like
It was like a baseball.
baseball.
So it was like a giant baseball made of flowers.
Okay.
And they turned out fantastic.
That was great.
Truly, but that was another one where we got to kind of stretch our creativity.
I'm getting that sense, like it appears that you're using a lot of elements outside of just flowers to create these. Is that something that you guys are a little known for?
Definitely, we like to bring in some plant elements, succulents and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we like to bring not just like base flowers.
We use a lot of
be
vegetables
simple.
and fruits as well.
We like to incorporate more style to the.
A full tablescape, definitely, and a lot of candlelight. We've been finding a lot of requests for different kinds of candlelight at variant levels, and floating candles and things like that are a nice element to bring in.
Yeah, some like texture to the table,
Truly.
some new elements, make it more fun. I love
Yes.
that. Do you guys have any events upcoming that we should look out for?
The Metropolitan.
That's one that we're kind of excited about. We have a couple of creative bar mitzvahs coming up. We have the wedding at the Metropolitan Room, which is one of our new favorite venues.
Okay.
It's an old antique shop or housing, or more of a warehouse, I suppose.
Sure.
And the venue allows you to utilize all these antique pieces, like chase lounges and pillars and things like that. One of our brides has requested, she saw an image on Pinterest with some exaggerated balloons, and so we're gonna do multicolored balloons at different sizes, 2 pillars of them essentially, cascading up the building, about probably 15 feet. So we're kind of excited to
make a
execute
dramatic
that.
entrance.
I love it. So let's talk about weddings, right? What is a normal consultation with FLO New York Events like?
I would say it depends on the client. Some clients come in and they know exactly what they want, and they've been planning this wedding their whole life, and they have everything outlined.
Okay.
And then some people come in and they don't have a clue, honestly.
Really?
And
What's that
so I usually start with something simple like a color scheme,
Okay.
or just to get a feel, or general style. Take a look at possibly a dress or a suit or things that have been picked out to
Okay.
get a general style sense. Pinterest is an amazing tool. It's a great research tool. A lot of creative
I was
people.
going to ask, has that kind of changed the game for you
It's
guys?
been amazing. It's
Yeah.
just
A lot. We know what the bride wants.
Exactly.
Because they put like all together, like maybe they want to have in the wedding in the big day, and that help us to create in her budget.
Their vision,
the
yeah.
vision, and try to make it together, and it's a good result.
it helps a lot. It's a great organizational tool that shows us exactly what they want, and it's just a lot of creative input. So it's a great place to search too. So we'll put together a Pinterest board for our brides also.
Oh,
if
really?
they
Okay, so you play
don't
along
have
with it
any,
too. Okay.
Definitely. Like if they need some guidance, I'll put together a board for them to see what they like and also what they don't like, to kind of just fine tune together what they like. So we'll do a consultation and kind of figure it out, and then we invite our brides in to create a sample centerpiece, rather, to just make sure that we're on the same page. 'Cause
Okay.
it's hard, unless we're like recreating exactly something that they've seen. Oftentimes they're like, I like this from this picture, or this from another picture, and so it's nice to kind of fruition it.
Well, you're creating their vision, and I think it's
Exactly.
important to have them
I
see a
agree.
sample of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing it the day of.
That would be
That's a
terrifying.
busy day.
Yeah. And heaven forbid they are not happy with it on the day. That wouldn't be
Truly,
good.
which
Yeah.
is kind of mindful of us also, just to rest ourselves at ease, to know that we're on the same page.
So how far in advance would I want to book you for my wedding?
We're generally very flexible, actually. We get inquiries a month out, a couple of weeks out, a couple of days out for
no way.
surprise things,
Happens.
or a year in advance happens as well. I find that we just kind of meld to our brides and grooms and whatever they need. Flexibility is definitely one of our
Strong
key.
points,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say it is, actually. We can jump on and make things happen.
So it's the day of someone's wedding. What is the setup normally like?
First part in the morning would look like us delivering personal flowers, either to their hotel or wherever they're going to have their first photography in the morning, like bouquets and boutonnieres and,
Okay.
and things like that. The next step in our day would look like setting up the ceremony, either at a church or possibly at their venue. And then we go in to move and set up the reception as
Okay.
well. We're also moving into, or expanding our company to do full coordination, which
Whoa.
would look like helping brides and grooms coordinate their photographer and their
Planning
DJ.
all the wedding.
All the elements, because there's a lot of moving parts to that day.
Absolutely.
And
So-
then also us being present at the wedding to help orchestrate and make sure that everyone's on time and things are moving along to the time schedule as
It's
well.
like a one-stop shop, in other words.
Definitely, because
I love that
we've been
idea.
doing decor for years, but
Okay.
I see so many times that other elements fall short, and we just kind of jump in and help out. And have been
There's a
doing
lot
that
of
for a long
hands in the
time.
pot, so it's hard to coordinate all of it, I can imagine.
It is, and oftentimes brides and grooms think they can do it themselves, and then throughout the course of the planning process, they find that it's a little more overwhelming than they
Too
anticipate.
big for their britches, perhaps. Yeah.
Yes, and so it's someone that we've been working with for a while, throughout their floral process, and have possibly recommended different vendors to them anyways. So we've been able to step in and help out with the day up as well.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's great actually, and it's a personal relationship that you develop with your bride and groom.
Do you get to like really know them? I'm imagining
Yes.
it's a long process.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Women crying on my couch all the time, for sure. It's a mildly potentially stressful process
sure.
to plan a wedding.
So the wedding day is over. All these beautiful flowers are still laid out on the table. What do you guys do with them? Where did they go?
We've actually just partnered with Hope Lodge, which is a cancer rehabilitation center. It's on 34th Street.
Okay.
And we pick up the flowers from the venue that evening or the next day and bring them over, and they place them in patients' rooms to
Okay.
use for the week or whatnot. And then we pick up the vases to recycle as well. So
That's
we've-
incredible.
It is,
Okay.
because for so many years there was so much waste, and because people don't typically take home flowers, I find. I'm not sure if it's because of New York and people are going in taxis and things like that,
Yeah, it's hard
or
to
if it's
carry
a change
them.
of times, but I find that they just get left there. So we've been wanting to partner with someone, and Hope Lodge is amazing.
And you're giving back, which is like even more spectacular.
great.
Yeah,
It does.
I love
Great,
that.
yeah.
So what's hot? What's in vogue for brides right now in 2016?
We've been seeing a lot actually of, as opposed to a round dinner table, more of a communal long
Sure.
table that can seat 10 to 30 guests,
people,
honestly.
yeah.
And so we've been seeing a lot of high and low candlelight with floating candles and things.
With just pops of flowers, like just
but-
bud bases,
yeah.
just put around, and I think it looks elegant, and I love it. It's not just arrangement that it looks like more full.
It's a nice flowing design, truly. And we've been doing a lot of garlands as well. So as
Okay.
opposed to a composed arrangement in a vase, it'll be a piece that just rests directly on the table, and we'll go through the middle of those long tables. We recently did a wedding at the Brooklyn Botanical. I think it was 60 guests at one long table, and it was so dramatic and amazing. And we did that high and low candlelight, and then that garland through the center, and it just was stunning. And it's truly just impressive, the full design.
Where do people like think of the, like, surely there's a new trend every year. Like, where does that spawn from?
We read a lot of publications for sure, and just
Okay.
keep abreast on the internet. As we were saying before, Pinterest is amazing,
Okay.
truly. And honestly, Joseph comes up with new ideas all the time, and I don't know where they come from, and he's constantly surprising me, and I'll bring in my collaboration and just collectively.
We work together.
Yeah.
Every time we there, we meet her ideas, and we bring with that.
And that's where the
amazing-
genius is formed.
Yes.
So, what's the difference between getting a flower that's in vogue and one that's in season? Perhaps I want a flower that's not in season, but it's very popular right now. What do I do?
We definitely have a couple of different options. One option is to, we can source it from Holland, definitely as a producer of floral that we can get year round. Also, we're finding that seasons have kind of broadened and changed
That's
throughout the
crazy.
year with the help of greenhouses. We can get flowers throughout the whole year that previously were only available for a short span of time, perhaps a couple of months. And also, if, like, say you wanted to get peonies,
Sure.
which is definitely a popular, amazing
most popular.
bloom, we might guide you to get, say, a garden rose, which is a little different from a classic rose in that it has several more petals, so it just really blooms full in the similar style of the peonies. So we can, guide to get something in a similar color scheme and texture that would be a nice substitution. That's an
Okay.
option if you wanted to stay within your price point and not get that more expensive exported flower.
So we want to be fiscally responsible
I would
when
say
choosing
so.
out-of-season flowers.
Definitely.
Okay. So what is a popular style that you find people in wedding parties gravitating towards?
Say we have kind of an even split between a classic bride, which would go with something similar that we brought today, with just classic whites, natural green elements, in which case we will ask them if they want to bring in an accent color, a pop of like a burgundy red or a purple perhaps, depending on what their bridesmaids are wearing or what their color scheme looks like. And then the other half of our brides just want to do something completely crazy.
And I love those brides because it's like you can work more. Like you have challenges to do more design her table.
Okay, so something outside the box.
More creative and more dynamic. Always interesting, or always good to bring in, and it's a few interesting blooms. It's nice to sit at the table and be like, what is that? I've never seen that before. Definitely every year we get approached to buy new flowers that have come out on the market. We're getting flyers for
Really?
things that botanists have created. So we definitely like to lean through, so just a classic arrangement and then just tuck in a few interesting blooms.
The power of science.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Stick around. Stacy and Joseph of FLO New York Events are going to show me some of the gorgeous arrangements they brought for us in studio, and are also going to show me how to put together an arrangement. So Stacy from FLO New York Events is here to tell me about some of the arrangements that they've brought with them today.
This piece in point is more of a classic design. We're utilizing just some classic whites and natural green elements. We have some hydrangea as a base, some white roses, some mini green hydrangea, Then we have some stock as this other white bloom.
Okay.
A
And
little
what's this
seeded
furry?
eucalyptus. One of my
Okay.
favorites. This one is called the Dusty Miller.
Okay.
And it has a velvety texture to it and almost like a soft gray hue to it.
Yeah,
And
I
it
see
feels
that.
very romantic and very Victorian garden. And then we also just used a little bit of a hammered silver vase as opposed to a classic clear,
Okay.
just to give it a little bit more of a character.
And what are some of these like bulb ones?
These are actually, it's eucalyptus seeds.
Oh, eucalyptus
Yes,
seeds.
it's in the same family as eucalyptus, which I'm sure
Okay.
you're familiar with, but it doesn't
Yes.
have any aroma to it at all.
Okay, so these are not quite there yet.
Exactly.
Okay, I love the texture that they add to this
I
piece.
do too. It really softens the piece.
So this is something that's more on the traditional end of the spectrum?
It is, and this is a nice base floral arrangement. We can go with just the whites and greens, or it's also a nice canvas to add in accent color.
Okay.
It'll pair well with a burgundy red or a purple or any color really that the bride may have in her color palette.
I love it. Everything's coming up roses.
I love it.
So what is this next gorgeous arrangement you brought with you today?
We brought a really simple piece with forsythia branches. We're moving into our spring season, and we have a lot of blooming branches coming into play. The cherry blossom in both the pink and the white, as well as dogwood, a few other pieces. And they work really well for ceremonies, because these branches can be created in 6-7 foot tall arrangements
Yeah, wow.
to frame the ceremony, and then alternatively they can also be used as centerpieces with a tall thin vase. Then it will fan out above eye level, of course.
I love the canary yellows.
So vibrant. I really love them as well. Some of my favorite time of the year for sure.
And this is like the big season, upcoming spring for
It
all
is.
these kinds of flowers.
Spring is
yeah.
amazing for sure. Everything's in bloom and available.
Stacy and Joseph of FLO New York Events are here to show me how to put together the perfect arrangement.
Today we're going to create just a petite arrangement, a little bit of a contemporary modern feel, just a clean design.
So we're gonna use Fringe Tulips
Okay.
and the ball grass that they call. I don't know, it's weird shape and I love it. We wanna wrap the bases so it doesn't look all the stems inside.
Okay.
So we can use the grass that we sell there.
Okay.
So you can take 3 of these and you can just make it like
A loop
wrap
around
it.
your finger,
Okay.
and then we'll place that inside the vase to disguise the stems.
So you
So
could-
just
Oh,
to give
I
a little
get
bit of
it.
texture in there,
And then
as
you can
opposed
see
to.
like a mother. It
Is
looks
that
something.
the idea?
That's perfect, actually.
Oh,
That's
okay.
perfect. That's
Well
doesn't
done.
look like a well.
you.
So then we're gonna make like little bouquets. So we can just
Okay.
take one.
So I just kind of take this
Uh-huh.
part off,
Take
just
away
like
the
as simple as that.
celery-looking
Yeah, and
leaves.
softly.
Okay.
'Cause sometimes they break easily.
They are
but
very
you can feel-
delicate.
A
very
soft
delicate.
touch. Okay.
That's true. And then we do like the little buds on the top, so it's nice
Okay.
to keep those intact. A little bit on there is
Okay, that's fine.
Definitely nice.
So
Okay.
then we're gonna take one of these green balls.
Okay, thank you. This is the grass.
grass ball,
Okay.
yes.
So and then we're gonna use 3 tulips.
3 tulips. Okay.
So together here.
Just pick 1, 2, and oops, 3. Okay.
And these are the fringe tulips, some of our favorites.
Okay. It's very pretty.
So we can take some of those leaves so they can look so green. So I can
Okay.
take.
To let the red showcase. It's nice to leave some, but then take away some
Okay,
as well.
so we don't like shuck it like corn.
It is.
Okay, I got it. This
So
is
you
much
can take
pretty.
like maybe just leave on one.
Yeah,
one
I might
leaf.
take that one off because it's a little big and leave this
Yeah,
one on.
exactly.
Okay.
So then
Okay.
you can like put 3 together.
Perfect.
So
Wonderful.
then we can use that ranunculus.
That we
So to make maybe like 5 and like one side, 1, like
So select
2.
ones that have, the big open,
Okay.
perfect. And so cluster those all together, maybe
Like-
5 blooms, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
I might bring down your buttons a touch.
Okay.
So you can cut it in the
Wow,
So that they're-
snatched. Okay, cool.
Perfect.
3 grass will
Okay.
be fine. So you can take them from here, from the stems,
Okay.
Make
and
it
we
part
can
of the
make it
bouquet.
like a grass like
Oh
that.
my goodness.
So then we
Perfect.
can use soft
Here we go.
wire, yeah,
There we go.
and then we can just tie
Tie it here.
like in the middle when it's all together.
Okay.
So this wire is so great for these bouquets because it's soft and
Okay.
also tie very well.
And we're just tying.
And
Okay.
just tie it.
God, this is so difficult.
Perfect.
Okay.
So
Is
then
that
you
too much?
cut,
Okay.
then you
Perfect.
cut the rest of the wire.
Okay.
You hire,
Trim it.
trim it, and then you can cut some like
This is my approximation.
Perfect.
Oops.
and
Okay.
just
And then. This is so gorgeous, and you did that like with me, and mine is so different. It's clear what experience can do for you.
They're beautiful, and this is a nice idea for long tables, as we were discussing before, to do a few petite pieces down the center as opposed to a full design.
Yeah, it's like
The
good
length.
for outdoors and indoors.
Truly,
Yeah.
good for rooftops. Nothing's gonna blow away.
For a consultation with Stacy and Joseph of FLO New York Events, visit their website, flonyevents.com. This has been Lawrence Tegrely with The Wedding Plan, helping you plan your special day.